women stuff on me. Force only leads to shame, and if life is just a game, then let's look at it as such. Taking Roman by the reins means your character has been punished. You've seen him do so much, so many things you just can't do. You know he doesn't touch like you know red isn't blue, since it's obvious to you and to anyone who sees it that when pulling off his moves, it really helps to have a penis. It doesn't take a genius hitting you with frisbees to see the butthead that is Beavis, or that the spinning makes you dizzy. So then why are we so silly when it comes to women's rights? You can't claim a loss of chivalry when all you want to do is fight. Women are the best. Women rule the world. Women should progress to being women, not just girls. See, women are the pearls in this clammy life we lead. As men, we're simply squirrels chasing nuts to feed the breed. Feed the breed. Feed the breed. Feed the breed. Chasing nuts to feed the breed. Feed the breed.
Feed the breed.
We chase them nuts to
Feed the breed.
Ronda Rousey is lousy. She's always been overrated. Watching her makes me drowsy, like I'm unwillingly sedated. Her presentation is just so basic. Her promo skills are lacking. Like she's flying in a spaceship whose foundation keeps on cracking, but she clearly has the backing of the men who are in charge. Which is why no one is asking why her goofy head's so large. She's like a sailboat to a barge. She may think she's like Brock Lesnar, but she only has her star because
Vince McMahon lets her. So
good. Women are the best. Women rule the world. Women should progress to being women, not just girls. See, women are the pearls in this clammy life we lead. As men, we're simply squirrels chasing nuts to feed the breed. Feed the breed.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Feed the breed. Chasing nuts to feed the breed. Feed the breed. Feed the breed. We chase them nuts to feed the breed. Doing manly things doesn't make you more of a woman. And if that knowledge kind of stings, well, that's equality pudding. When a man's not really good and isn't the best of the herd, no one cares who should win. They just toss him to the curb. No one says what he deserves. We simply tell it like it is. He's judged on his body of work, not his body while naked. And so the truth then that we're faced with makes color out of gray. Women should be sacred, like dudes kissing
There you go. All right, so Nick Fuentes. Unlike Ian Carroll, Nick Fuentes actually has a YouTube or a Wikipedia page. Nicholas Joseph Fuentes, born August 18th, 1998. Wowzers, what? He's just a youngin'. Is an American far-right political commentator. Is he really far-right? Activist and live streamer. He identifies as a Christian nationalist and part of the incel subculture. His views have been described as racist, white supremacist, misogynistic, homophobic, anti-Semitic, and Islamophobic. Furthermore, he has been described as a neo-Nazi and a Holocaust denier. His supporters are known as gropers. What's a groper? The Groypers, or Groyper Army, are a group of Christian nationalists and white nationalists, people loosely defined as followers, fans, or associated. They are named after a variant of Pepe the Frog. So, remember how, you don't remember, but, you know, I've always said that's what's going to be created. When you create a narrative where everyone but white people is allowed to be proud of who they are, brown pride, black pride, blah, blah. But then white pride is automatically associated with racism. Where, this illusion that the NAACP and the, what's it called? The, what's the thing called? What's the thing called with black people in the hiring process? Affirmative action. There you go. You believe that affirmative action is preventing white people from getting good jobs because they have to have black people and shit like that. You're going to create the white nationalists. You're going to create this group of younger people. And I knew it was going to be the younger generation because, it's just the way things work out. But you're going to create that. People who normally might not be racist, might not be, bigots in some form, because they're experiencing bigotry against them, it changes them. It changes their mindset. But somebody like Nick Fuentes would never engage me. Education, Boston University, dropped out, it says. Fuentes was raised in LaGrange Park, Illinois, and a student at Lyons Township High School, where he was described as holding mainstream conservative views. He began political activism in 2016 at 16 years old. No, 17 years old. After graduating and started the episodic live stream America First in 2017. So he's 19 years old at this point. In 2019, Fuentes' followers began to heckle Charlie Kirk and his organization Turning Point USA events, referred to as the Groyper War. In 2020, seeking to establish a white supremacist conference to rival the Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, Fuentes began holding the annual America First political conference. Now, see, I don't know this. Is he racist like that? Is Nick Fuentes racist? I mean, his last name is Fuentes, so he has to have some Hispanic in his background. I mean, his dad would have to be, his dad would have to be like a Hispanic of some sort to be a Fuentes, right? Like Daisy Fuentes. I wonder if he's related to Daisy Fuentes. In November of 2022, Fuentes and Kanye West had a private dinner with Donald Trump. Oh, that was who it was? I remember hearing about it. I didn't know who Nick Fuentes was at the time. The meeting was condemned by some American political commenters due to Fuentes' and West's anti-Semitism, which they do have. I'm not one to deny anti-Semitism, but I know what it means. And so anybody that opposes supremacy, which should be everybody, practices anti-Semitism. And you have my support. Anti-Semitism is a good thing. Nobody should have policy or predisposition favorable to them. Nobody. No group should be judged on anything other than what the group does. No person should be judged on anything other than what that person does. In November 2022, we already did this. Memes, trolling, and protests were used to push for more extreme right-wing positions. Fuentes credited the Groyper War II for Trump's rehiring of Corey Lewandowski. In 2025, Fuentes said Trump was a scam artist due to his failure to release the Jeffrey Epstein client list. I mean, that's pretty interesting, don't you think? He was invited to dinner with Trump. Fuentes has been involved in a number of controversial events. Fuentes attended the 2017 Unite the Right rally and was also an attendee and speaker at events preceding the January 6th United States Capitol attack. Seems like that's a desperate attempt to lump him into that category, don't you think? He was also an attendee and speaker at events preceding, so before it? Who cares? There were lots of people at events prior to. Fuentes faced wide-stream deplatforming from major social media, streaming, and financial services between 20 and 2023, primarily for violating hate speech policies and inciting violence. Strange, huh? But they don't do that. You guys, I always hear about how Israel doesn't censor social media. Israel doesn't control social media and our government and shit like that. So it's weird that he would be openly deplatformed for what he said, thing that was so extreme in hate speech. I think it's strange how in-depth his history is compared to Ian Carroll, though. In November 2024, after his home was doxxed, he was arrested for battery for pepper spraying and pushing an activist, taking her phone. In December 2024, Fuentes survived an apparent assassination attempt at his home by a 24-year-old man who was killed by police after a shootout. Interesting. Nicholas Joseph Fuentes was born on August 18th, 1998 to William and Lauren Chico. Lauren Chico? According to Fuentes, he is half... Oh, shit. I poured way too much in there. I couldn't see it. It sucks. All that tea flavor I'm going to lose now because of this. All right. He is Italian, Irish, and Mexican descent. His father is half Mexican. He grew up in LaGrange Park, Illinois. He attended Lyons Township High School, where he was president of the student council. He was raised Catholic. Various sources have reported that his parents share Fuentes' racist views. Do you understand how silly that is? Aren't his parents Mexican and Italian and Irish? Like, it just seems really strange that he would that he's considered such a racist. His parents did not want to visit restaurants associated with black people. Yeah? Fuentes began commenting on politics through a local radio and TV station hosted by his high school, where he was described as holding mainstream conservative views. John Kielman wrote in the Chicago Tribune that after his graduation in 2016, he embraced the extreme right. He studied international relations and politics during his freshman year at Boston University, but dropped out in connection with his attendance at the Unite the Right rally, a 2017 white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. Who is he related to get all the exposure? Maybe it's Daisy Fuentes. You know, the thing about that thought process, Craig, is that you have to understand that at this point, Israel has started to figure things out. You know, they've realized they can't just give us empty profiles with 5 friends and 3 following, and we go, oh, that must be a real person. They knew they had to create, they had to create the controlled opposition. They had to create Charlie Kirk. They had to create Nick Fuentes. And I'm sure it was a toss-up between which one they were going to take out, Fuentes or Kirk. And Kirk has Fuentes is a more controversial figure. So it wouldn't have had the same effect that super ultra white bread Charlie Kirk. If his name's Fuentes right there, that tells you something else. And maybe they did try. Maybe that was a real assassination attempt. That the shooter was killed, blah, blah, blah. Maybe. But they have to give us these people. We're paying too much attention at this point. They have to, they have to do what they've always done. Infiltration, interference, subversion. This is literally like the foundation of the CIA and FBI. The OSS, the Office of Special Services or Secrets, whatever it was. So even if Fuentes isn't necessarily related to somebody, or there's something there that we're not going to see. Maybe we will. Let's keep reading. He said afterwards, he neither supported Nazism nor the man who drove into the crowd, but believed the violence from counter-protesters spurred violence in return. Yeah, that's weird how that's never addressed. Like, the counter-protesters are usually the ones that are picking the shit, making the thing turn violent, but that never gets talked about. Fuentes, though proud to have attended the event, ultimately dropped out of Boston University after receiving death threats over his media persona statements and attendance of the rally. A former mentor of his stated that the response to his involvement with the Unite the Right helped raise his media presence. Interesting. And otherwise, this would have been a nothing protest. This would have been another nothing gathering of white people had it not been for the violence that happened that day. And anytime they wanted to pay attention to something, they make the event more special by making it violent. Fuentes dropped out in 2017 after completing his freshman year. At this time, Fuentes faced pressure from his parents to pursue a more conventional path, such as getting a job or returning to college. Wasn't he making a shit ton of money off of social media at this point? Fuentes told Louis Theroux, that fucking my money don't jiggle jiggle, that guy. I saw somebody call him out in a video like last week where they were at dude's house and dude was like, fuck Israel, blah, 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 blah. Why don't you say that? And he was like, oh, yeah, I see you can't. You're bought and paid off too. And that's the truth. You see that consistently with these people that you think are on the good side. Fuentes told Louis Theroux of the proposal he made to his parents at the time. Why don't you give me just 1 year to explore this? If it works out, I'll keep doing it. If it doesn't work, I'll abandon it. He's 21 years old at this point. Like, who are his parents to have any say over his life at this point? And it worked out. Fuentes later stated in 2022, while being investigated by the January 6th committee, that he went on to receive an associate's degree at the College of DuPage after dropping out of Boston University. So this is a lot of bullshit, right? I mean, it's just there is so much here. For it being a guy that we're not supposed to pay attention to, boy, is there a lot of shit here. Fuentes has been banned from numerous social media platforms. Most actions attributed to violations of policies on hate speech and related content, which is only about the the Fryer thing. Being racist against black people, that doesn't. Our society doesn't care about that. Exactly. In January 2020, Fuentes was the most viewed live streamer on the DLive platform. I need to start going to these other things, I guess. Following the January 6th United States Capitol attack, his DLive channel was permanently suspended. Interesting. Fuentes' YouTube channel was also demonetized, and one of his videos was removed by YouTube as a violation of their hate speech policies. But they won't tell you why or how. Fuentes had previously been banned from Twitch and from Reddit. So how does somebody with so much negativity, so much banning, get to be where he is? Doge. I mean, this dude was still in high school when Trump was elected the first time. And by the time he got invited to the dinner, a dinner with Kanye West and the President of the United States, he's 19? He just sort of popped on the scene and was like, this, what? On February 14th, 2020, his YouTube channel was terminated for violating policies on hate speech. Don't worry, he's still well compensated. Twitter was among the last mainstream social media sites to ban Fuentes, indefinitely suspending his verified account in July of 2021. He has also been banned from financial and e-commerce services, including PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, Spotify, Stripe, Streamlabs, and Coinbase. Wow. In the United States of America, the land of the free, where free speech is the number one thing, how do you make this connection here? It's really an interesting thing, don't you think? According to ABC News, because ABC News is talking about this nobody. In March 2021, Fuentes had been suspended from almost all social media platforms. Fuentes claimed that his bank account had been frozen, that he had been placed on a federal no-fly list, and that he had been banned from Airbnb, Facebook, and Instagram. Was he? Fuentes describes these actions as overt political persecution. In December of 2021, the social media platform Gitter permanently suspended Fuentes. The site received backlash from Fuentes' fan base as well as from the Arizona State Senator Wendy Rogers. Gitter subsequently banned use of the word groyper on the platform. That's amazing. That's just amazing. This guy has just he must have all the know-how. He must have like a whole bunch of computer hacking skills and bow staff skills and shit. On January 25th, 2023, his verified Twitter account was briefly reinstated. According to a senior researcher at the SPLC, he immediately praised Adolf Hitler and the Unabomber and declared, "Jews run the news." I'd love to see it. Like, why would I just believe what I'm being told? And then there's the second part, the whole friars run the news thing. That's not a bad thing, right? And it's a really obvious thing, and it's not something that should be considered hate speech. It's an accomplishment. It's an achievement. It's something to be proud of that such a small group of people, 0.183% of the world's population, 2 to 3% of the United States population, could possibly control as much as they do. That's incredible. That's something that they should be proud of and be bragging about. The reality is, being told I can't say that, being told not to, that just makes it seem sinister.
Needless to say, I wasn't happy and found it quite obnoxious. But irregardless, which isn't a word, but
in May 2024, following an announcement by Elon Musk, Fuentes' X, formerly Twitter account, was reinstated. Musk stated, "I cannot claim to be a defender of free speech, but then permanently ban someone who hasn't violated the law, no matter how much I disagree with what they say." I mean, that's respectable. That's how it should be. That's what free speech is. The ADL condemned Musk's decision, to which Musk addressed the backlash by stating, "It is better to have anti-whatever out in the open to be rebuted than to grow simmering in the darkness." And that's absolutely true. Like, that's what isn't true about that statement. If you're telling the truth, then you put it out there, and you welcome the challenge. Since his return to X, Fuentes has grown his follower base to 965,000, depending on when this was written. After Fuentes' ban from DLive and YouTube, America First moved to streaming on Rumble with approximately 500,000 viewers. This growth in popularity led to exchanges with Tucker Carlson and Jason Whitlock, in which they recognized his ability to draw an audience. Fuentes, alongside Alex Jones, attempted to rejoin YouTube in September 2025 after it was revealed YouTube, alongside Representative Jim Jordan, would be offering the reinstatement of all channels banned from the site due to political speech violations. However, Fuentes and Jones were both banned again just hours after creating new channels, as Rep. Jordan and YouTube's parent company hadn't started their program to unsuspend users yet. That's fucking dumb. According to the Anti-Defamation League, that means it's 100% true and there should be no questioning it whatsoever, because the ADL would never lie. According to the ADL, Fuentes cited the candidacy and presidency of Donald Trump as an inspiration for America First. America First is broadly considered an American foreign policy of nationalism and protectionism. That's fucking crazy. On November 25th, or on November 22nd, 2022, 11/22/22, or 22/11/22, depending on where you live.
But if you buy their crock, you think I too
Interesting,
poison mine.
nonetheless. Donald Trump hosted Fuentes and Kanye West for a dinner at Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida. Oh, he wasn't president yet.
I like my amenities. I like not being sick. I think
The meeting was at West's request. Oh, yeah. West said that Trump was really impressed with Nick Fuentes. Trump released a statement saying that after contacting him earlier in the week to arrange the visit, West, quote, unexpectedly showed up with 3 of his friends whom I knew nothing about, with whom Trump dined, and that the dinner was quick and uneventful. Well, fuck yeah, if Trump says it, you know it's true. No, he doesn't still support Trump.
stop poisoning your children.
I might have to make a Rumble account. What do you guys think? Trump further elaborated several days later that he met with West to, quote, help a seriously troubled man who just happens to be black, who has been disseminated decimated in his businesses and virtually everything else. Trump also acknowledged advising West to drop out of the race. Members of the meeting gave contradictory accounts of what occurred. According to Axios, a source stated that Trump seemed very taken by Fuentes and impressed that the 24-year-old was able to rattle off statistics and recall speeches dating back to the 2016 campaign. Paraphrasing the conversation, the source said Fuentes told the president he preferred him to be authentic and that Trump seemed scripted and unlike himself during the recent 2024 campaign announcement speech. Trump responded, you like it better when I just speak off the cuff? The source said. Fuentes replied that he did, calling Trump an amazing president when he was unrestrained. There was a lot of fawning back and forth, the source added. That's interesting, don't you think? Economic factors might take the spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year. Economic factors might take some of the spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year. Economic factors might take some of the spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year. West also stated that after asking Trump to be his vice presidential candidate, Trump started basically screaming at me at the table, telling me I was going to lose. I mean, has that ever worked out for anyone in history? I'm like, hold on, Trump. You're talking to ye. What?
They've been stacking the debt since debt became currency, supplying the worry.
The Kanye distraction. The Kanye deception. The meeting received significant attention and comment from domestic and international political figures. The nature of the event, in which a former president hosted guests with open anti-Semitic beliefs, was considered unprecedented in the modern era and garnered intense bipartisan criticism of Trump, with Republican leaders in the U.S. Congress making a rare rebuke of Trump. The scandal raised questions over Trump's tenability as a candidate for the 2024 election among American friars. That's a blue thing. American Jews is blue, like it's its own thing. The ensuing discussion was described by a New York Times writer as what may be the most discomforting moment in U.S. history in a half a century or more. Really? That's the most discomforting thing that's happened in the last half century? Was Trump having a dinner with Nick Fuentes and Kanye West? Because they don't openly support Israel, even though Kanye has changed his script again? Kanye's a piece of shit. I fell for Kanye once. I fell for Kanye when it came out that he had supposedly said all these things, and this was just before he got canceled and all this other shit. And for maybe like a couple of days, I was like, Kanye's actually saying something. Kanye's actually. But the reality is, all it takes is imagine if any star, any famous person just decided they were going to go live and start talking about shit like this. There's not a single one that does. Don't you think that's fucking weird? Commenters and politicians argued Trump's failure to condemn anti-Semitism and racism from the guests was an implicit acceptance of their beliefs. Okay, they did this when the Kanye news first broke. And they tried to attach Kanye to white supremacy, which I just thought was like, it's a joke, right? Like, you're kidding, right? George Bush doesn't care about black people. Kanye West is a white supremacist. How is it that your system is so well designed and well oiled, yet you weren't planning on a prominent person of color to say something? You're used to it being white guys, so you ran the white guy program. Isn't that fucking insane? This random group of people who held signs on an overpass. What were they called? Something Goyim. It was something Goyim. Goyim Freedom Force or something like that. Something pro-Goyim. And they were holding signs that said Kanye was right and all this other shit. This made it to the fucking news. You realize, like, other than maybe 100,000 people or so that would have driven by that and been like, what did that say? Nobody would have known that shit happened if the news, the they news, didn't tell us to care about it. And this is how you know it's like it's all scripted. That everyone that you see that's on TV that you know about is you know about them because they want you to know about them. Nick Fuentes can never unify the people. He's a Christian. He's a racist apparently. He's a white guy, even though he's a Fuentes, he's still a white guy. And they know that. There's a reason why there's no halfies that are in that high position. There's really no people of color in general, but especially a halfie like me, because none of that racist bullshit will work. And when you eliminate the racist bullshit, then what happens? Then what arguments do they have? It's wild, man. Trump defended the dinner in a Truth Social post, writing about West. We got along great. He expressed no anti-Semitism, and I appreciate all of the nice things he said about me on Tucker Carlson. And why wouldn't I agree to meet? And that he never met or knew nothing about Fuentes. According to Washington Post, Trump initially believed that the events of the evening would blow over. However, by December 1st, the actions of West and Fuentes made the dinner. The actions of West and Fuentes after the dinner had changed his mind. Oh, yeah? Mike Pence, the former United States Vice President, who served during Trump's first presidency, stated, I think he should apologize for it, and he should denounce those individuals and their hateful rhetoric without qualification. I mean, it's just so weird how they the pre-programmed responses to that shit.
My swell is enormous. I'm sure this foxy.
Nobody ever addresses what's being said because none of it's false. Everything that's said about these horrible people is true. So the only thing they can do is the blanket statement bullshit. Israeli Prime Minister designate Benjamin Netanyahu labeled the meeting a mistake. In a follow-up interview, Netanyahu said, on West and that other unacceptable guest, Nick Fuentes, I think it's not merely unacceptable, it's just wrong. And I hope he sees his way to staying out of it and condemning it. In August of 2024, Fuentes began a, quote, digital war against Trump's presidential campaign, which he dubbed Groyper War 2. The Daily Dot reported that after poor polling for Donald Trump, Fuentes began calling on his followers to, quote, bring the energy with memes, edits, replies, and trolls, aimed at pressuring Trump's campaign to adopt further right positions on race and immigration, as well as urging Trump to fire his campaign advisors Chris Licivita and Susie Wiles. In addition to directing his followers to make their demands trend on X, formerly Twitter, and Truth Central, Fuentes threatened to, quote, escalate pressure in the real world, urging followers to withhold their votes and protest Trump rallies in battleground states. Fuentes said Vance was, quote, the end state of Trumpism, a complete fabrication who is created in a lab by Peter Thiel. Wow. Like, other than the crazy Christian rhetoric, Fuentes seems spot on to me in a lot of ways. The whole immigration bullshit, that shit just drives me crazy. That's just racism, you know. It's racism in a palatable way.
Those voted into cabinets more than like to slip bone that's beyond plastic, fleshy colored stick.
Shortly after initiating this effort, Fuentes took credit for Trump's rehiring of Corey Lewandowski as senior campaign advisor in August, although Lewandowski was ultimately told to focus on staying in the role of a surrogate for the campaign in October after reportedly losing a power struggle regarding Trump's campaign. What the fuck does that even mean? Fuentes said he would not vote for Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance. He questioned whether Vance would support white identity since Vance's wife is of Indian heritage. Vance said Fuentes was a total loser in response and indicated the Trump campaign would not listen to him. Conservatives, including Fuentes himself, largely agreed that he had little influence on Trump himself. Disillusionment with Trump. In November 2024, Fuentes criticized Trump supporters for dressing in garbage bags after a rally where Donald Trump climbed into a garbage truck in response to President Joe Biden's remarks about his followers. He described this as a moment of realization that, quote, Trumpism was a cult, illustrating the slavish devotion of his supporters who would, quote, just eat up anything, he said. He stated, that was the moment when I realized it has gone too far. It is a Frankenstein's monster. We've created a golem. And characterized Trumpism as a giant cult-like scam. In July of 2025, Fuentes criticized Trump after he refused to release the Epstein files and reputed supporters repudiated reporters that had called for their release before stating that the, quote, liberals were right and that when we look back on history of populism in America, we are going to look back on the MAGA movement as the biggest scam in history. In late 2022, Fuentes shifted away from his longtime position of supporting Donald Trump and instead, alongside with many of his supporters, began promoting Kanye West's presidential campaign alongside fellow alt-right conspiracy theorist Milo Yiannopoulos, a far-right streamer and far-right streamer Sneeko.
Deliver a dime, then the blame goes to fires or maybe pipelines.
On November 28th, 2022, political commenter Tim Pool interviewed West, Fuentes, and Yiannopoulos regarding West's campaign. I don't even remember Kanye's campaign, to tell you the truth. Strangely enough, that shit seemed like it went away faster than it started. Poole pressed West and Fuentes with an article posted by Mike Pence stating that Trump was wrong for allowing anti-Semitic people to eat with him at dinner, referencing the two's dinner with Trump 6 days earlier, and demanded that the two apologize, which they refused to do before eventually walking off during the interview. Well, what's crazy though is that they never doubled, like nobody ever actually says anything enlightening. Like anytime these guys get to the you know the position where everybody's going to hear what they say, they never say anything. When Kanye, the first interview Kanye had after he got in trouble, where he was naming names, he only named off black people. When he finally had that stage where everybody was hanging on his every last word, he only talked about black people. And that's what he does. That's what they all do. That's what Cat Williams did. When Biden first released the Epstein list, which turned out to be a whole bunch of just loose papers and shit, just no organization whatsoever, and it immediately started to gain, notoriety and condemnation. And then within a week of that release, out of the blue, Cat Williams is on Club Shay Shay, which turns out to be one of the most widely seen podcasts ever. And what he does is take the focus away from them and put it on black people. Now we're talking about Steve Harvey's goofy ass. We're talking about, what's his name? The little guy. Kevin Hart. The only chosen that he mentioned were the dead guy and the guy that was already in prison. And it was just brief. He mentioned Weinstein and he mentioned Epstein. And that was it. But he just mentioned them. In a December interview with Alex Jones, piece of shit, the two garnered significant controversy after West declared that he, quote, loves Adolf Hitler and denies the Holocaust. What's interesting, though, is you'll never see what he actually has to say. You'll never see the arguments that he makes and then somebody saying, Kanye said this and this and this, and he was wrong because of this and this and this. You never see that shit. You'll never see that with any of this. Just like you'll never see it on my feed. You'll never see somebody come in here and tell me what I'm wrong about, how I'm wrong, why I'm wrong, and here's a different way of thinking about it, looking at it. Literally, nobody does what I do back to me. Fuentes, while not directly commenting on West's remarks, shared his agreement with West's views throughout the interview. I mean, you see what a like open-ended, bland sort of filler information this is. They're not going to say what he agreed with, what was said. You know, it's just, oh, and he agreed with him, and that, like, it's just crazy. On December 5th, 2022, Proud Boys founder Gavin McInnes interviewed West alongside Fuentes, with the duo asserting that Hitler's reputation was, quote, crafted by Jews. It was. Like, it's see, this is that thing, is it's not like what's being said is just wrong, or, you know, making fun of the way someone looks, or, you know, some sort of shaming or whatever. It's just history. It's the history that's being left out. It's the Havara Agreement. You know, that shit doesn't get talked about. Why not? Why not? West also endorsed Fuentes' beliefs by stating that society needed to be structured around a Christian government. There you go. And that media in the United States needed to be controlled by Christians. Why do you think it's allowed to exist? Because they push this bullshit. And at the end of the day, who do the Christians call their Christian God's chosen people? You see, it all just feeds into itself. It's like a fucking human centipede that's connected. You know, a circular human centipede. It's fucking insane, man. Following controversies regarding Fuentes' supposed involvement in allegations based around another Kanye West supporter, Ali Alexander, West fired Fuentes and Alexander from his campaign with the help of Yiannopoulos, who had been rehired after initially leaving the East team following his comments in the Jones and McInnes interviews. What? What? What are you talking about? Like, that right there, how is that not you're pushing buttons? At least you got the you're right. Which buttons am I pushing? I'm wrong, right? All I'm doing is lying. So why would anybody care if I'm lying? Especially since I have no fucking no influence whatsoever. I have 4 people watching. There's nothing there. It correct. It correct. Gotcha, bud. Upon West's release of the controversial song Hail Hitler, which Fuentes witnessed the production of during a kick stream hosted by Sneeko and producer Digital Nas in April, he stated that the song would become the song of the summer before remarking, "Imagine 50,000 people in a stadium on their feet singing every word. This is where it's going." That song is nothing. That song is shit. Hail Hitler, also known by the alternative version title Nigga Hail Hitler, and later known as Hallelujah. He changed it to Hallelujah. Is a song by American rapper Kanye West. It was independently released on May 8th, 2025 as a 3rd single from his upcoming 13th studio album, In a Perfect World. Never heard that album come out. Titled after the exclamation said when doing the Nazi salute, the song features additional vocals from West group The Hooligans. Written by American rapper Dave Bluntz, it was produced by Quad Whooper and Chef Made. Why isn't Kanye writing his own songs? Kanye's one of the most prolific and talented musicians in the last 100 years. Kanye's a fantastic rapper. Kanye's a fantastic producer. What are we talking about here? Who is this guy that we're talking about? The track received negative views from critics, including outrage and condemnation due to its anti-Semitism and praise of Adolf Hitler. It's like nobody actually listened to the words of the song. West has claimed that the controversial nature and subject matter of Hail Hitler caused the song to be banned from all major digital streaming platforms. Yeah, no shit. The song has been banned in Germany due to Germany's laws against extremist symbolism and hate speech. West's travel visa to Australia was revoked due to the song's content. West re-released Hail Hitler in multiple altered forms since it was taken down. An instrumental version was uploaded in its place on May 14th, titled Hail Symphony, later Hit Symphony. After announcing that he was done with anti-Semitism, West released Hallelujah on May 31st, an alternate version of Hail Hitler that replaces its references to Nazism with lyrics relating to Christianity. Get the fuck out of here. In February 2025, Kanye West met rapper Dave Blunt through the former's agent, and they began collaborating together. Blunt had previously been credited as a sole writer to all of In a Perfect World singles, including WW3 and Cousins. Why is Dave Blunt writing Kanye West's album? What is going on here? Obviously, something happened to Kanye. Like, if you still believe that that's Kanye West, that's the same guy that was, George Bush hates black people. George Bush doesn't. George Bush. What did he say? George Bush hates black people. Yeah. You think that's the same guy? The guy that like the Kanye West narrative is really creepy, right? So after the which was it? I can't remember what it was, what actual thing happened. But Kanye did a tour, and he had this stage that was elevated above the crowd and would move all over the place. Really cool idea, right? Halfway through, not even halfway through, part of the way through, he stops everything. Stop everything, stop everything. And he just starts talking. And he talks about Jay-Z and Beyonce, and he sounds really hurt. He's like, man, why haven't you called me? What's going on with you, man? We made one of the greatest albums of all time. The fuck is wrong with you? And he starts spilling the tea about how, the music industry, radio, all of it is connected. And that you ever notice that you'll hear a song that you won't like, but then after you drive around enough or you hear it enough times, you start liking it. That's all by design. And, the same 15 songs are in rotation all the time. Like he spilled it all out. And this was in Brazil, I believe. And this was the first date of his tour. Immediately after the show, the rest of the tour is canceled. And Kanye's physical trainer, the guy that's there to keep Kanye in tip-top physical shape, who happens to be chosen, he gets Kanye committed to a mental institution where he undergoes electroshock therapy. And there's an interview, I've had a hard time finding it since, but I did find it before, where shortly after this whole thing goes down, somebody interviews one of Kanye's associates. And they're like, yo, how's Kanye doing? And the guy says, well, he's starting to get his memory back and blah, 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 blah. And it's just skipped over, like, he's starting to get his memory back. What the fuck do you mean, his memory back? And right after that is when blonde top Kanye appears, where, you know, they burnt his head, they burnt his hair with the electroshock, and they had to cover it up, so he dyed his hair blonde. And then he went to have that photo op with Trump where he just stood there, fucking drool basically coming out of his face. I'm just here to take pictures. I'm just here to take a picture. And Trump's like, and he's a really good young man, and we have a lot in common, and me and Kanye are great, great friends. And Kanye's the type of guy that should be producing at least an album every year. The the idea that there's these long periods of time between Kanye music, and apparently Dave Blunt's is writing his entire album. Like, what the fuck is going on here? This doesn't fit. You know, it's this kind of stupidity that needs to exist. And since then, again, you know, this is the guy that is like, if you listen to early Kanye, you hear someone that appears to be awake. You know, appears to be seeing things and you know, talking about you know, he's more spoken word and blah, like, he was this guy that was really changing things up. And then they killed his mom. But even then, this man continued to pump out banger after banger after banger. You know, basically the entire Jay-Z Niggas in Paris album is fucking gold. Every song on there is amazing. The best song is, though, No Church in the Wild. It's that shit is so fucking good. The beat is so good. The videos, all of it, it's just so good. Speaking about Hail Hitler in a June 2025 interview, Blunt said he understood people's frustrations with its lyrics, jokingly comparing himself to Robert J. Oppenheimer due to his involvement in its writing. What? How are you connected to Oppenheimer? Despite this, he still defended the track, saying that everybody acts like they don't like it. It's a good fucking song. The beat was pretty good. Yeah. The words are stupid. It doesn't say anything. Before his release, Hail Hitler was featured on the track listing revealed by media personality DJ Academics on April 3rd, 2025. The song was played multiple times during live streams by West in the following month, showcasing progress in the development of In a Perfect World. Notably, earlier versions of the song contain the line aimed at fellow rapper Drake, "Niggas be acting like F words so much, I think they might be Drake." Digital Nas, who worked on the track, said it was the song of the year. I mean, you know, Drake is a guy who, at the very least, likes young girls. But Drake is easily the fakest of the fake. Like, it just shows you how fake the whole thing is. Aubrey Drake is this gangster rapper after his early career on what's that fucking Degrassi High. The dude was on Degrassi High. He was a little fucking nerdy halfy. He's half J, which explains exactly why he is where he is. He doesn't write any of his own shit. Like, he's just a fucking clown. He's an absolute clown. The video where he's standing in front of a whole bunch of guns and shit. Like, he is such a clown. He is so fucking fake. Composition. The song features a synth-heavy and orchestral instrumental, including marching band-style drums during its bridge. For the hook, West and his group, the Hooligans, chant, "All my niggas Nazis, nigga, hail Hitler." What a stupid fucking phrase. West's first verse details the current state of his life, including his custody battle and the freezing of his assets, using them as justification for why he, quote, became a Nazi. The song ends with a sample taken from a 1935 Adolf Hitler speech. The speech in German translates to, "If you consider the work I'm doing to be right, if you think I have been diligent, that I have worked, that I have abdicated for you this year, then I have spent my time honestly in the service of my people. Then cast your voice. If so, stand up for me like I have stood up for you." An edited version of the song's instrumental, the Hail Symphony, replaced the original version on most streaming services. Released to Scribe earlier in the day, this version removes the vocals and drums, the former being the reason for the song's deletion. The further emphasizes its orchestral elements. The version was also taken down by Spotify, leading West to re-upload the song with a single black cover and the updated name Hit Symphony. After previously stating he was, quote, done with anti-Semitism, West released a new version of Hail Hitler titled Hallelujah, replacing the mentions of Hitler with lyrics relating to Christianity. This version still contains the majority of the first verse, only the word Nazi is censored. Additionally, the Hitler speech is completely removed, with the song's ending itself being cut down. That's fucking, this is just crazy. This is just crazy.
You can get mad all you want. The Brooks story, the Blake story, they take away from George Floyd. And stories like this one, which have strangely disappeared. Who makes that decision?
Views and opinions of, we're going back to Nick Fuentes. Espouses alt-right white nationalist and anti-immigration views that emphasize racial and religious identity, opposition to multiculturalism, and criticism of mainstream conservatism. Fuentes calls himself a reactionary, stating that he wants to turn the Republican Party into a truly reactionary party. The SPLC and the ADL say he hopes to have the alt-right displace conservatism and the GOP, and has criticized mainstream conservative groups, stating that Christian Republican voters get screwed over because the GOP is run by Jews, atheists, and homosexuals. Now that's according to the ADL, which again, why are we quoting them and not him himself? In June, Tess Owens, a reporter for Vice, wrote that Fuentes, quote, has positioned himself as the kingpin of the ultra-nationalist youth movement. These positions extend to his views on race and national identity, where Fuentes has promoted white nationalist and supremacist themes. I'm really confused by that. He's Fuentes. His father is apparently half Mexican. Fuentes strongly opposes immigration, which he believes is a demographic threat to the United States. Fuentes has spoken positively of a tidal wave of white identity following his attendance at the 2017 Charlottesville Unite the Right rally, and sees America's white demographic core as central to the country's identity. Fuentes has discussed the white genocide conspiracy theory. Again, isn't it interesting how it's somebody in their 20s? Like, it's not somebody in their 40s that gets pushed to that decision. Who who are still sort of blinded by certain elements of things. Fuentes has discussed the white genocide conspiracy theory. He said the term white supremacist is an anti-white slur. Fuentes wants the United States to be a white Christian country and has specified that it is not a Judeo-Christian country, according to the SPLC. Like, again, why do we keep jumping from he said this? According to the SPLC and the ADL, he said this. On the podcast, Fuentes has stated, Jays are running society, women need to shut the fuck up, blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part, and we would live in paradise. It's that simple. I'd love to see that. I mean, again, I'm not surprised. You know, if they elevate someone like this, it makes anybody who supports him a bad guy. And it decreases the value of the good things he's saying. Fuentes continued with, but the older I get, the more I realize it is really this simple. We need white men in charge of everything again. And if that's what he thinks, like, again, I'm not surprised. Fuentes is Catholic and identifies with the traditionalist Catholic movement. So he's the last person to call out all of the pedophilia that is just everywhere in the church, I would assume. He has said, you're either a Catholic or you're with the Jays. And he has voiced support for a Catholic government and Catholic media. Fuentes supports a Christian theocracy instead of what he calls a friar-occupied government, which we have. Fuentes has described himself as a reactionary who supports autocracy, Catholic monarchy, just war, the Crusades, and the Inquisition. Fuentes opposes democracy. Approved. Slow. Fuentes holds anti-Semitic views and denies the Holocaust. He has promoted anti-Semitic conspiracy theories against Jays and called for a holy war against them. Exactly. And I guarantee you, Fuentes is the first guy to get his ass whipped in any sort of occasion. He's going to be the first guy to pull out a gun. He's definitely not some tough guy. He said that Jays stood in the way of overturning Roe versus Wade, and that the Dobbs decision meant that banning gay marriage is back on the menu, banning sodomy is back on the menu, banning contraceptives is back on the menu, and basically we're having something like Taliban rule in America in a good way. Oh, that's funny as shit. Fuentes would never, ever have a debate with me. Never. The biggest issue for me is, like, don't you understand that your whole Christian Catholic bullshit is their creation? Like, are you not paying attention to literally what the Bible says? Who the characters are in the Bible? Who the Bible tells you is superior? Look at the way the world works right now. Look at the way America works right now. And the idea that we all work and we all, suffer so that it can be taken, our money and our and everything can be, our prestige, our power can be taken and given to them. That's literally what your Bible is laying out. It's really interesting to think, like, again, you question everything but that part. Of course, he doesn't question Tartaria and shit. I'm sure he just believes that In 1941, we built the Pentagon because we had swift orders. So from September 11th, 1941, until January 23rd or something, 1943. So roughly 14 months, we built the Pentagon. Fuentes frequently praises Adolf Hitler. During his speech at AFPAC 2022, Fuentes bestowed giggling praise on Hitler. I mean, again, why don't you give us what was actually said instead of, this kind of bullshit? Because you're not actually saying anything at this point. In 2025, Fuentes claimed that his anti-Semitic views had toned down as he aged, though the New York Times stated that a review of Mr. Fuentes' recent remarks indicates otherwise. Fuentes has described Islam as, quote, a barbaric ideology that wants to come over and kill us during a show in April of 2017. So that was a long time ago, and he was 19. No. Yeah, wasn't he 19 at the time? I mean, I would assume someone can change. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. But to be held accountable for everything I said and believed at 19, well, that would be weird, wouldn't it? During a show in April 2017, Fuentes argued the First Amendment is not written for Muslims or immigrants. Fuentes' foreign policy views praise authoritarian regimes and movements that oppose U.S. influence. On March 10th, 2022, Fuentes praised Tsar Putin for the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which he claimed was to liberate Ukraine from the great Satan and from the evil empire in the world, which is the United States. There was a whole bunch of murmurs and underground reporting being done saying that Putin was liberating child camps, and that they not only were they liberating child camps, they were destroying weapons labs, biological weapons labs. Who knows if that's true, but I don't know. One expert on the far right stated, the common thread is the idea that because of Western European and U.S. influence on Ukraine, Ukraine was a place where the same perceived downfalls of Western society existed. I mean, it's called J-Crane for a reason. It's actually pretty ridiculous. During his speech, Fuentes praised Hitler. They have said that so many times. He giggled, he praised Hitler, he loves Hitler. They've just said this over and over and over again. And if anybody should love Hitler, it should be them. If not for Hitler, then none of this shit would even exist. There wouldn't be an Israel without Hitler. Without the manufactured excuse. And said that the media had been comparing Vladimir Putin to Hitler as if that wasn't a good thing. Fuentes also asked the audience, can we get a round of applause for Russia? Which was followed by roaring applause and chants of Putin, Putin. After the conference, Fuentes led a prayer for Russia's forces in Ukraine. He also ridiculed Kamala Harris for claiming that Russia was committing war crimes. Fuentes spread lies about death counts and Russia's motivations for the war. Really? Again, what are these things? I'd love to know what these lies were. Fuentes has expressed support for a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, saying in 2022, I want China to take back Taiwan. I want Russia to take back Ukraine, if for no other reason than it's time for America to be humiliated. That's a weird thing to say. Fuentes has praised the conservative religious aspects of Islamist Taliban governance. He has been described as having disdain for Muslims, but he states that his goal is a Catholic Taliban rule in the United States. After the Afghan government fell to the Taliban while American forces were withdrawing in August of 2021, Fuentes posted on the Telegram messaging service, the Taliban is a conservative religious force, and the U.S. is godless and liberal. The defeat of the U.S. government in Afghanistan is unequivocally a positive development. Fuentes is a vocal critic of Israel and U.S. support for the country. He stated that the United States should withdraw support for Israel because we're European. They're ethnically friar-ish. He claimed that the October 7th attacks were staged to, quote, justify Israel's unfolding war to destroy Iran's proxies. How can you not see that? I don't understand how anybody even comes close to falling for the October 7th narrative anymore. It's crazy, man. Fuentes has frequently spread conspiracy theories and misinformation surrounding FDA-approved COVID vaccines. In December 2020, Fuentes reportedly had an altercation on a flight over mask mandates. In April 2021, Salon reported that Nicholas Fuentes and his Groyper army have joined forces with the coronavirus anti-vaccine community. That year, he embarked on an anti-vaccine speaking tour where he promoted hoaxes about the COVID vaccine. Wow, that's a really short little bit that they did on that. Let's just mention it as quickly as we can. And let's quote random magazine Salon. Who fucking subscribes to Salon magazine? Who knew about this random quote in Salon magazine that they were like, hey, let's include this, and then Wikipedia Nick Fuentes biography or whatever entry. And really, like, when you look at Nick Fuentes, you see a tiny white guy who has the tiniest schmeckle. He has such a tiny schmeckle. So that's one of the main drivers of why he's such a misogynist. You see that so often with this character type. Because of their tiny pecker, they are, extremely homophobic. They are extremely racist. They are extremely sexist. And it's all because of, like, he knows in his head that no matter how successful he gets, no matter how much money he has and how much reach he has and popularity he has, that if his girl isn't a virgin when he gets her, and if she's been with a black guy, she's never going to be satisfied by him. And really, he probably doesn't care too much about satisfying his female, because he had to tell himself that it didn't matter in order to be okay with the fact that he doesn't. Look at this bitch coming down here all sneaky style.
There's some chocolate mint for tea.
Oh, thank you. I didn't want my blunt instead.
You have one. Okay. And 3 roaches.
What a Fuentes. What a Fuentes this broad is. What's mine is hers and what's hers is hers. You need some help from Dad Bod.
Like your tall man.
Tall man has been retired.
Nuh-uh.
Mm-hmm. Says he beats her. I beat you. Yes.
Oh, ow.
Shut up.
Oh,
Shut up, bitch.
ow.
Shut up, bitch.
Ow. Ooh. Ah.
There you go. They're fantasies, man. They're putting their fantasies out there. But that's and it's the same thing. These are the same characters. Just beating women in general.
That's just gross.
Yeah, but it's what I was just saying about guys with little dicks. You're not gonna get your ass beat by the dude with the big dick.
I mean, you might, but
In a different way. Nasty girl. But the guys with the big dicks are the guys that are the most tolerant. The white guy with the big dick, the white guys with the bigger dicks that my wife was with, those were the guys that were the more tolerable. Or tolerant. Whatever. The guys with the small dicks, those are the guys that have the biggest issues. Those are the guys that have the biggest problem with equality. And when you're talking about, like, the only way they could ever have one of their own as a porn star was it be nasty ass Ron Jeremy. Right? It had to be the ugliest guy possible because there wasn't another replacement. They're like, we need another guy with a big dick, and we don't have one. All right, I guess the hedgehog it is. He's so nasty. And he didn't have a nice dick. He had a gross dick. It was a quack, quack, quack.
I have to go 18%.
Okay. I didn't ask. No questions, no answers. It's simple.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
Those will start at some point too.
Next time I'm gonna beat you though, just so you know.
Ow! Ooh!
Get out of here!
Ouch!
Go on now.
Oh, you held it in. Or so he thought. It's okay. You won't be
Oh wait, you're saying what? You talking? You doing pets? Here I come. If I can get there. I filled this shit up yesterday. It's already empty.
Say that again?
I filled this up yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, see.
She. Every single plant is a she. I see that everywhere now. There's this channel I watch where you get like black people trying white people's food and white people trying black. It's one of those kind of shows. And every single time the fat black chicks call the food the she. They call their dish a she. Like, you guys have to stop being so desperate. You have to stop that shit. Like, you are diminishing what a she is by doing that. Instead of you adding some sort of power to something you think, you're diminishing it. And you just don't see that sort of awareness. You see this desperation. And it's those same girls that still expect the dude to pay for everything, pay for the meal, pay for this, pay for that. Like, they're not going to walk up to the dude and be like, hey, can I take you out to dinner? There's so much shit. There's just so many. Like, I am all for equality, but I'm all for equality in reality. Equality isn't, you know, female basketball is on TV because you guys want it to be. You know, female basketball, the WNBA is horrible. You stay here. Move. You stay. Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good.
Anyway, you guys can do something about this low hanging one? Because it's going to fall when we get an ice storm.
I can actually, that's application, so that's AT&T. That has nothing to do with power.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have AT&T.
Cut it down, to be honest.
I can't cut it down.
It won't. That's what I'm telling you. If something happens, it's not going to do anything.
Can you undo it from up there? Can you guys cut it when you get up there?
No climbing.
Oh. All right, man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem. But yeah, if it ever falls,
Okay, cool. So there's no electricity running
no,
through it.
no, electricity is the higher one.
All right, cool, man. Appreciate you. Oh, my kid is getting his butt kicked when he gets home. This looks like hell. He hasn't picked up the shit. His job to do the dog shit, and he hasn't done a very good job of it. You gotta wait, dude. You're not gonna go out there and just bark at those guys the whole fucking time. Oh. Are they leaving? In 2022, Fuentes told the British journalist Louis Theroux that he believes it would be better if women did not have the right to vote. In July 2023, so back to what I was saying, I definitely think there should be equality, but equality comes with shit you don't like. And that's the biggest issue that you see with equality, is women don't like the part where it works against them. You know, equality is, you know, you don't get hired because you don't perform as well. Equality is you don't get to take days off whenever you feel like it because you have women's issues going on. Equality isn't, you know, being given a curve that men aren't given to learn or do whatever because you're hot and people like looking at you. You know, like there's a difference there that just doesn't want to be. Equality is women's basketball is a fucking joke. The idea that it's on TV is a joke. It is not good. It's not entertaining. It's unintentionally entertaining. If I watch women's basketball, I'm going to be laughing the whole time because I just think it's so goofy. But the you know, I mean, they fall down all the time. They airball every like at least one every 10 shots is an airball, and probably less than that. They miss passes. They, you know, it's slow. It's you don't ever watch it. Like every once in a while you'll see something you're like, oh wow, that was pretty cool. But you're not watching it going, oh, that. Right? It's fucking insane how just ridiculous it is. And then you have these broads that have the audacity to pretend like they should be getting paid as much as the men do. When the only reason the league exists is because of the male league. They steal $10 million a year from the NBA to pay for the WNBA. You know, it's finally starting to make a little bit of money, I guess. You know, the last time I saw a game, it was a playoff game or some shit, and it looked like the stands were, you know, pretty full. Usually the crowd is just empty. But I mean, you know, the reason why you watch professional sports is because you watch people doing things you could never do. You're watching the epitome of excellence when it comes to each particular thing. You know, there's only so many starting wide receivers in the NFL. There's only so many running backs. There's only so many quarterbacks because these positions are extremely coveted. And if this guy, the difference between you and this guy is that you can throw the ball a yard further, they're going to take you, especially if you fit the mold perfectly. You know, even if you can't throw the ball, you know, you throw the ball 5 yards less than this guy throws it, but he's a jackass and you're the good media darling. You know, they're going to pick you. There are all sorts of weird things that are involved, but at the end of the day, you still have to be the best of the fucking best. You know, the female wrestling, WWE, is the best example of it. You know, you watch fake fucking fighting, fake wrestling, because you want to see fucking Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, big monsters fighting each other, doing things that you could never do, you know it's fake, but you know those are stiff blows and those are big falls and those are, you know, that shit hurts. And you watch these guys jump from one side of the ring to the other. And you see another guy pick another 250-pound man up and press him above his head. And you see these things that are just insane. And the difference is you can be a good-looking guy and be a monster. You can be a Roman Reigns who is good-looking and is capable. With the women, you don't really have that much. The ones that are capable of the biggest feats of strength are chicks nobody wants to look at. But anyway you slice it, like even just something as goofy as it's called a work punch. The punches in the WWE, they're called a work punch because they're supposed to look real, but they're supposed to be light as a feather. And the women's looks so bad. And if we had equality in place, the women's wouldn't be allowed to be on TV because it's just not good enough. They would need to improve their craft until they were good enough to be on TV. But instead, they're so desperate for women performers to fill this unwanted need. And it's unwanted. Look at any show. Look at any wrestling event. The crowd dies when the women come on. Compared to the men, there are very, very, every once in a while, there's a woman that you know, like a Ronda Rousey, who everybody knows is actually tough or something like that, you know. But nobody gives a shit about the women's bullshit. Nobody. And it's terrible. If it was better, I would care more. But it's not. It's terrible. They botch so many spots in each match. It's not like a once in a while thing. You see multiple botches every match. The pacing is just off. It's just terrible. It's a terrible. Supposed to entertain it because, well, you know, you want to do. China was disgusting, and China was a joke. China was not going to beat up any dude. When it used to drive me crazy when they would have Ronda Rousey doing the go crazy thing, and a bunch of male buff security guards would run down and Ronda would be throwing them around. That is fucking dangerous. That's why so many women are getting their asses beat, because they think they can stand up to men, and you can't. Physically, we are not equal. Get the fuck over it. I can want to have a baby all goddamn day. It's not going to matter. There's nothing I can do or say or believe or pray to or anything like that that's going to allow me to experience what it's like to give birth. It's just something I have to deal with. Females, stop it. No female should be getting in a man's face. And that bullshit with Ronda Rousey kicking this shit out of 5 different men. Little girls are seeing that shit. And they're thinking, man, I could do that. They can't. There are so many videos out there that show you what happens when, a female thinks she can do it. She's so good, she's beating the women in her thing. And she steps up against a moderately trained male and just gets destroyed. There's just a difference. But see, that would be the thing. For women to be truly equal, they would have to admit that they're inferior. And they don't want to do that. It's this weird ass thing that they, I can do anything, you can do better. I can do anything better than you. Mia Hamm versus Michael Jordan. Get the fuck out of here with that. Mia Hamm, that's about it. And she's definitely playing basketball better than Michael Jordan. Or baseball better than Michael Jordan. Football better than Michael Jordan. Like, are they really going to do that? Are they going to create a female football league one day? Are they going to make the field fucking 75 yards and shit so females can do it? Can you imagine how unbelievably bad female football would be? Like, it'd be something to watch once. But it would be so... I don't even like watching college football. I don't like watching college sports because college sports is good, but it's not the best of the best. And if I'm going to waste time of my life, if I'm going to waste my life essence on something, I want it to be the best of the best. And female sports doesn't even come close to college level male sports. There are multiple examples of the female champion soccer team facing off against a group of high school boys, a champion, a state champion high school team or whatever, and they get their shit beat in. Or there's the video of the champion females going against the retired males, and they lose like 20-0. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's not even like it's embarrassing that this keeps happening. That this is the way that we're manipulated to believe and to think about things. And you want to go? Do you want to go? What's up? Okay, man. Don't go then. I don't care. Anyway, back to Nick Fuentes being sexist. In July 2023, appearing on the Fresh and Fit podcast, Fuentes stated that women were baby machines because that's what their brains are about. Oh, Jesus. He has stated that the optimal age for a wife is 16, which he states is right when the milk is good. What? Where did we just go to? What the fuck did... What? Oh man, that's just, come on. Do you see it now? Now do you see it? Now do you see the why that you were ignoring? What? That's right when the milk is good? Ew, what the fuck are you talking about, Nick Fuentes? Why isn't this a more known said thing when talking about him? I've never heard anybody else bring this shit up. Oh, this is fucking wrong, man. But this is why I've been telling you, man. Controlled opposition. Do you see why this man has been elevated like he has been? This was in 2023 when he said this shit. He has spoken out against the quote LGBT agenda and has described transgender people and same-sex marriage as deviancy. I am just like, all the wind is out of the Nick Fuentes sails at this point. Fuentes has defined himself as involuntary celibate. Has described himself as shouldn't it be involuntarily celibate? Involuntary celibate. Incel. Is a member of an online subculture of mostly male and heterosexual people who define themselves as unable to find a romantic or sexual partner despite desiring one. They often blame, objectify, and denigrate women and girls as a result. The term inspired a subculture that rose to prominence during the 2010s, later influenced by and associated with misogynistic terrorists such as Elliot Rodger and Alik Massa. Oh my God. This is now I get it. I was wondering what the shit was going on with him, why he was allowed to be, and now I know. I have to go pee. I'll be right back.
Wrong. Same song, dancing around the truth. A spoof of myself, my wealth's a belt, slapping welts across my stomach. A 6-foot summit, I plummet screaming. Help me please, my knees are wrong. I felt the breeze release my jaw. Healthy people don't heed the call. Help me please, I think I'm evil. Please save me, my misbehaving.
Anybody else think Nick Fuentes looks like Smithers? Do you see a Smithers connection there? I'm fucking shocked, man. I'm not shocked. Ugh. It's weird, right? Like it's one of these October 7th things where I hate being right. I'm shocked because it's just, you know, I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked because I expected it, but I just hate being right.
I'm sweltering, the heat so strong. Please shelter me from my evil. Please leave me. Stuck believing I might change.
He has described himself as the straightest guy and attempted to defend himself as an incel by claiming that the only really straight homosexual position is to be an asexual incel, as having sex with women is gay. What's gayer than being like, I need cuddles, I need kisses, I need to spend time with a woman? Wow. Wow. That's pretty gay. Following the Dobbs v. Jackson decision that overturned Roe v. Wade in June 2022, Fuentes praised the Supreme Court of the United States for its decision in November 2024 after Donald Trump's victory in the 2024 United States presidential election. Fuentes mocked supporters of reproductive rights, tweeting, "Your body, my choice forever." A brash spin on the freedom of choice, my body, my choice. The phrase became popular on TikTok, where female users reported that accounts were commenting "Your body, my choice" in mass on their posts. Like, who does that? That sounds like some Team Jorge kind of shit, doesn't it? Doesn't that sound Team Jorge-ish? Where suddenly women are just being bombarded with a dumbass phrase that only a piece of shit could say? Do you see why they created this character? Because he's a piece of shit. So if he's a piece of shit, then everything he says is from a piece of shit perspective, right? So when you let the guy that's the piece of shit say all of the Israel stuff, well, then there you go, right? It guilt by association. Wow. On November 8th, the Institute for Strategic Dialogue published a report detailing the exponential increase of the phrase's usage on X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Reddit. On the day after the 2024 elections, they also noted instances of its uses offline, specifically on high school and college campuses. That is wild. That is wild. On November 10th, 2024, Marla Rose, an activist from the city, approached his home and attempted to ring his doorbell. Allegedly, Fuentes pepper sprayed Rose before pushing her down his front steps and taking her phone, which she was using to film the interaction. Following this incident, Fuentes was arrested on November 27th, charged with battery. He appeared in court on December 19th. That's that? That's the end? In 2023, Fuentes and associates were involved in a scandal about Fuentes' friend, Ali Alexander. Two accusers, 17 and 15 years old, respectively, stated Alexander asked for pornographic images and encouraged sexual intercourse. One accuser said he believed Fuentes was 100% aware of the alleged situation, yet did not intervene at the time. The other accuser said, Nick personally asked me to apologize to Ali for supposedly faking the messages. Fuentes denies the allegations. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene requested an FBI investigation, stating, "This is disgusting textbook predation of underage boys, and Nick Fuentes was in on it." Wait. Oh, these were 15-year-old boys. 17 and 15-year-old boys. Wow. And Nick Fuentes was in. Milo Yiannopoulos, a one-time Alexander ally, alleged he sent text to Fuentes in January 2022, which read, "Alexander wants to come to your events and have sex with underage boys. Snap out of it." Alexander later apologized. He also said he was targeted by fake account accusers or literal honeypots eager to frame me, and that some of the claims were defamatory and false. He further stated nothing unlawful had occurred. What? That's really strange. In November 2024, the address of Fuentes' Berwyn, Illinois home was doxxed on Twitter in response to Fuentes mocking abortion advocates in his tweet, "Your body, my choice." On December 18, 2024, at 11:30 p.m., a man armed with a pistol and a crossbow showed up at his home. The man, identified as 24-year-old John Lyons of Westchester, was suspected of killing a mother and her two adult children in Mahomet earlier than the day. After police arrived, Lyons fled, forcing his way into Fuentes' neighbor's residence, where he killed two dogs. Lyons then fled into a backyard where he refused police commands and exchanged gunfire with them before being fatally shot. Fuentes made a statement on his X account, writing, "Last night an armed killer made an attempt on my life at my home, which was recently doxed on this platform." He also wrote, "The gunman carried a pistol, crossbow, and an incendiary devices. I believe he intended to kill me. Now he is dead. I am okay." And that's basically it. That's fucking crazy. So I was talking about this yesterday. And speaking of that whole thing that we just talked about, imagine if it was a friar in that situation. Because the secure community network would have been in place. Right? And if you need to know more about the secure community network, watch yesterday's video. But it is a friar security organization in North America. It works with hundreds of synagogues to provide safety, guidance, and threat intelligence. SCN liaises with law enforcement and other organizations to provide best practices for friar communal security. They have their own secret security police force that I mean, it's fucking nuts, right? It's really crazy. And the amount of money this thing gets is just crazy. So we had gotten through the Pittsburgh shooting, the Monsey Hanukkah stabbing, the Colleyville synagogue hostage situation, which literally all three seem like manufactured, staged events. Like it's as far as a manufactured event goes, as far as conspiracy theory goes, one of them being questionable, okay. Two of them, it's like, well, wait, what's going on? But by the time you get to the third thing, that just doesn't fit the narrative. You know, the hostages escaped because of the JCN network and the training they had received. The threw a chair at the guy because they love using furniture as weapons. They threw a chair at the guy and they were able to escape. And like, we're talking about just fantasy. It's fucking fantasy. And it's again why, you know, they created a Charlie Kirk. You know, Charlie Kirk was created to be, you know, sacrificed the way he was. That was the plan from the get. I'd like to know who Nick Fuentes' donor list is. Looks like who donates money to Nick Fuentes. I tried to have Ian Carroll and there was no Ian Carroll. Let's see if maybe there will be if I just look it up here. Software developer, Australian executive. Yeah, see, there is no Ian Carroll page, weirdly enough. So this SCN is this secret friar security service that they all have access to. And it said that 90% of American friars were a part of this network. And this is a network that somehow communicates to them in crisis situations, be it cell phones or pagers. I don't really know. It doesn't go into too many details about it. but they're given special training. They're given, they've been given millions and hundreds of millions of dollars for security purposes in their communities because of this. Like it really does read like some crazy conspiracy. And I encourage you to look into it, to watch yesterday's video, whatever it takes, but it's just like everything else I keep showing you. Whether it's the Havara agreement, whether it's the Naftali Bennett video talking about controlling Wikipedia, whether it's the Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness article detailing the ritualistic sexual abuse that's everywhere in Israel, everywhere. I provide you with as many receipts as I can. If you look at the description of the video, you'll see all the receipts are there. A link to the Team Jorge page so you can see for yourself that they literally brag about controlling social media and having, come on, a special software that can create as many as 30,000 bots at any given time. And those bots can either be used to attack someone. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, right. Thank you. Or build someone up like an Ian Carroll who just appeared in March of 2023 and was almost immediately on the Rogan show and had, hundreds of thousands following just out of the blue. How does this happen? What are we seeing at this point that we're not paying attention to? I mean, I never look into something and I'm surprised by how foolish I was to ever think it was anything other than what we were told. Literally every single thing I look into makes for more questions, validates the questioning of it to begin with, makes the thing look worse. And this incel, bullshit associated with Nick Fuentes while also being associated with child shit. I mean, it's too convenient, right? It shouldn't be this obvious. It shouldn't be this easy. I should have to look a lot harder than I do to be able to blow this shit apart. But back to this SCN, Secure Community Network. This is the 2023 Gaza War section. Soon after the start of the Gaza War, SCN was called on by media outlets to issue a statement. SCN responded in October 2023 saying, "At this time, there are no known credible threats to the U.S. friar community." What is this network? What is it on? How do they communicate these things? Have you ever heard any of your good friar friends? You can't blame them all. I have some good friends that are friars and they don't do anything. Have your friar friends ever told you about this? Have your friar friends ever said to you, "Hey, if you ever hear about an emergency, immediately call me because I'll have insider information for you"? In the immediate aftermath of the October 7th Hamas attacks on Israel, SCN provided security and safety guidance to community partners and law enforcement based on real-time intelligence and threat assessments. Compared to 2022, the SCN duty desk saw an 112% increase in tracked security incidents logging a yearly record of 5,404 incidents impacting friar communities. Meaning, somebody said something that one of them didn't like, so they called the organization to make the complaint and pad the numbers. Do you know of the complaint line that you can call if somebody violates you in any sort of way? Whether it's because of your skin color or your sexual preference or your religious identity or anything like that. Do you know of anything like that? That will track the incidents that you, every time you call, they track that shit and then they make it into this national database of hate crimes? It's how they keep track of things. It's how they know, gauge the communal response to things, is they have all these reporters in the field. Global events, particularly the October 7th Hamas attacks on Israel. Wow, that's twice. That's twice in one paragraph. That's twice in like 3 sentences. Contributed to shaping this elevated security and risk landscape. Oh yeah? How? How did that make anyone's lives anywhere else any less comfortable, any more dangerous? Like, it's just such insanity. And it's insanity because if it was black people doing it, when black people say, hey, Black Lives Matter, I wish cops would stop shooting unarmed black men, it gets turned into everything in the world. It becomes this divisionary phrase and this motivation for hate. And all they're doing is saying, hey, we matter. You guys, doesn't seem like we matter to you guys, but we matter. In the 3 months since the terror attacks, SCN logged an unprecedented 2,628 incidents, which included cases of death threats, oh yeah, vandalism, assault, harassment, manslaughter, and terroristic threats. Gee, I'd love to see what examples we're talking about. And I would imagine harassment makes up about 2,600 of those 2,628. In the beginning days of the war, the group arranged for a widely publicized conference call between FBI Director Christopher A. Wray and leaders of the friar community following a suggested International Day of Rage by Hamas figures. What? Okay, so just think about what that said. Do you know of any groups that can arrange for a conference call with the FBI director? Do you know anybody that can do that just offhand? Oh, hey, you have an issue? Hey, let me call the FBI director and we'll do a conference call where you and all your friends can yell at him and he'll just sit there and take it and try to appease you. The director said on the October 12th call with approximately 4,000 participants, 4,000 people on a conference call with this one dude. How do you even facilitate that? What fucking network is that shit on? That's a pretty impressive conference call. That the Bureau was, quote, also aware of the information on the internet about a Hamas call for action or demonstrations, and we cannot and do not discount the possibility that Hamas or other foreign terrorist organizations could exploit the conflict to call on their own supporters to conduct attacks here on our soil as well. Hey, and how did that happen? Did anything even close to that happen? No. No. That answer is no. Because it's not true. It's all scare tactic, fear propaganda bullshit. making it seem like the Israelis were the victims here. SCN National Director and CEO Michael Masters reflected on the nature of the threat environment in an October 13th interview with the Associated Press, in which he warned against letting, quote, fear or clickbait threats cause chaos in the friar community because he said that is part of the objective of those spreading hateful rhetoric online. I mean, it's all. Do you guys not notice the same things are said over and over again? They never point to anything in particular. It's hateful rhetoric. Why does everyone hate you so much? How come that question is never asked to people? Whenever somebody makes that statement, how come nobody ever says, and why do you think people hate you so much? What do you think the motivation is behind that? That's a pretty substantial claim. Do you have anything to back that up? In a profile interview with ABC News that aired October 19th, when was it filmed? Bradley Orsini, SCN's senior national security advisor, disclosed that since the Israel-Hamas war, quote, the number of threats targeting friar communities in the U.S. has tripled from about 20 a day to about 60 a day. And what has transpired? Can anybody show me any sort of, validation to any of this bullshit? Because to me, it all seems like propaganda bullshit. According to SCN data cited in an interview with CNN's Dana Bash that aired November 18th, the organization logged a then monthly record of 770 anti-Semitic incident reports in the immediate month following the Hamas attack. 770, not 669 or 771, 770 exactly. The most ever internally recorded since the group's founding in 2004. A December 17th article appearing in the Jerusalem Post reported that in November, SCN tracked 634 incidents, up 290% from the year prior, that included vandalism, harassment, and assault, among other acute threats and actions. What are we talking about? Where is this assault that's taking place? What vandalism are we talking about? Because if there was, it would be national news. That's the problem with making every little thing national news. That when you make claims of little things happening and it's not national news, well, that kind of takes away any sort of credibility it may have. Among other acute threats and actions. What the fuck does that even mean? Vandalism, harassment, and assault among other acute threats and actions. That doesn't, that don't make no sense. What are you talking about? Why can't you be more specific so that we know what we're looking for? In addition to recording incidents, SCN worked in close partnership with local, state, and federal law enforcement, including the FBI, to refer individuals committing acts of anti-Semitic hate and violence to authorities. In October and November of 2023, the first 2 months of the war, SCN referred 230 individuals to law enforcement. That's hearsay. That's fucking insane. In December of 2023, SCN referred a record 779 individuals to law enforcement, representing a significant 48% of the total referrals for 2023, 1,619. I mean, what does this even mean? Referrals to law enforcement. So then law enforcement does what? And this is some sneaky ass conspiracy shit, and nobody knows about it. I know I didn't. I mean, I did. I knew about it, you know. Sort of in theory. You know that this stuff is happening. You've heard mentions of things, and reports of this have gone up for so many percents, and you hear about these stories. But you can't put your finger on it per se. You can't put your finger and say, oh, it's this or it's that. But now you can. This figure marks a sharp rise in referrals compared to previous years, 578 in 2022, 117 in 2021, and 232 in 2020. Following an influx of reported threats and hostile activities targeting friar students at U.S. universities, Masters joined Fox News' Harris Faulkner to discuss growing safety concerns on college campuses. That's not at all what's happening. What's happening is that the students are overwhelmingly supporting the United States no longer funding the genocide that's taking place. And hopefully stepping in to stop it. They're not attacking any friar students. It's the friar students that have a problem with the protests. And then they come running their mouths and talking a bunch of shit. Making threats and then running and hiding behind the cops. It's what they do. They create this narrative, and then when it's go time, they flee. They're only tough when the IDF is behind them, or a reasonable facsimile. If there were any significant threats or incidents at any college campus at all where a friar student was targeted and assaulted, beat up, threatened, whatever, we would all know about it. It would be a huge national story that we're all told we have to care about and do everything we can to eliminate. Never mind what those same colleges were doing to black people for decades. One actually affects them, oh, that's a negative. And the thing is, it's not the students, it's not the people like me that initially were saying, hey, this isn't a Israel thing, this is a friar thing. They did it. They were the ones that came out repeatedly. Michael Rappaport, Jerry Seinfeld, what's that guy's name? The critic. I always forget his name. John Lovitz, James Woods. You have these guys coming out saying that if you don't support what Israel's doing, then you oppose friarism. They're the ones that make that connection. Michael Rappaport being one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever seen. God, what I wouldn't give to debate that piece of shit. Nobody can possibly believe that he has the career he had because his acting skills were just so great. He just wowed everyone with his acting skills and his fucking leading man good looks. This fucking piece of shit has street cred because he changes the way he speaks. But they're the ones that consistently made it, combined the two. You can't be protesting Israel without protesting against, Judaism itself. They said it. So instead of us, sitting here trying to deny it, engage it, embrace it. And ask those good friends you have, I have some really good friar friends. Well, then ask them why they still belong to such a disgusting, horrible cult. I use this example all the time, but are there good NAMBLA members? Can you imagine you have a friend who's like, I belong to NAMBLA. I don't actually partake in any of the man boy stuff, but I absolutely support their right to do it, and I give them lots of money, and I vote for them, and I help them put on their big giant festivals where they have all sorts of kiddie rides and shit, and thousands of kids come through. And a couple of kids get picked out and get violated, but thousands more have a good time. So isn't that okay? Would any of you say that? Would any of you agree with that statement? Would any of you be friends with a NAMBLA member? Well, this is worse. This is we're talking about a much larger, stronger, more disgusting cult where a lot of those cult members are NAMBLA members. Let's see. The interview came in the backdrop of an October incident in which a junior at Cornell University posted death threats targeting Friar students on an online messaging board. In their interview, Masters pointed to the parallels in language used by the student in his threats and the war crimes committed by Hamas, such as using rape as a weapon of war and the indiscriminate targeting of friars for perceived war crimes in Gaza. What the fuck are they talking about? Like, this entire narrative that was just spit out is false. Hamas wasn't using rape. That's what they do. Indiscriminate targeting, that's what they do. There was no indiscriminate targeting. They don't even show you the casualties anymore. You know, if you saw if you saw the Hamas totals going up every day, and the Friar totals only going up when some fucking friendly fire thing happens or some bullshit, you'd start to pay attention. Oh, Jesus. Between October and December 2023, SCN recorded 320 anti-Semitic incidents on college campuses, which included cases of assault, vandalism, and death threats. Where are these cases of assault? I want to know about them. You know, I want there to be proof of what you're saying so that I can be against it. I'm going to oppose to anybody being assaulted. If you're assaulted innocently, that's not okay. On December 6, 2023, the United States Department of Homeland Security released new resources to support faith-based communities in enhancing their physical security. The initiative came in response to a current heightened threat environment, partially driven by ongoing conflicts in the Middle East, including the Israel-Hamas war, which makes houses of worship vulnerable as potential targets for malicious actors. I mean, that shit's never happened. That shit just never happens. How come when it was Muslims, there wasn't this overtly sensitive Muslim campaign to protect the Muslims? And the thing is, the thing that nobody ever talks about is the fact that 90% of the crime that exists is Christian on Christian crime. But nobody brings that shit up because, that would make ridiculous. Not like nobody ever talks about white on white crime. Belch. Nobody talks about the crime in the white communities and this and that. They don't do that. And of course, you never hear about crime in the J community because of shit like this, where, they have their own ambulance service. They have their own security network that handles all this shit. That's the liaison between the police and the Hasidic people. SEN worked with DHS in developing, disseminating these performance goals tailored for nonprofits. Masters, who also sits on the DHS faith-based security council, security advisory council. I mean, again, why are faith organizations, certain faith organizations, getting getting Semitism that nobody else gets? Like, this is just crazy the way this shit works out. Emphasized the importance of this initiative in an official DHS press release stating, the Secure Community Network is proud to partner with the Department of Homeland Security. That is fucking nuts. To ensure the highest quality guidance for faith-based communities amidst a time of increased threat of hate and violence. What evidence do you have of any of this shit? You know, the couple of crimes that constantly get mentioned are fucking fake. They're fake. That's why there's no casualties. Or when there are, they're all elderly people who could have died of heart attacks or being taken off the they could have been planning this for a while and had 5 or 6 people that were on life support. And they were just waiting for a car accident or something like that to happen where they could go, okay, we got the 4 people from the car accident, we got the 5 people on life support, and then we got those 2 brothers that we have to include and get rid of. And that's literally all it would take. And then you could stage a fucking event that nobody's allowed to film, nobody's allowed to see. Think about every single mass shooting you've ever seen where even long after they think things are okay, as they're escorting people out of the building, the people have to walk with their hands up or hands on their heads, and they go to a under a tent somewhere where nobody can see them, and they're debriefed. Phones are taken, whatever. That shit literally happens at every single shooting event that there is, except for these. With these, there's no footage of it. There's no footage of any of it. And nobody's thought to go interview the guy and find out what the fuck he was doing, what his motivations were. You know? If he even did it. No. Hear what he has to say. Nobody knows what he has to say. The whole thing is just, it's just crazy. Increase the DHS guidance continues to set a high standard and example that our community is proud to follow, and we look forward to the work of our continued partnership. 2023 surge in bomb threats and swatting incidents against friar institutions. Really? SCN noted a significant rise in bomb threats and swatting calls targeting friar institutions in the United States during December of 2023. Yeah, but they're always found out to be them doing it to make, because they're trying to bring awareness or some other stupid shit. According to SCN, over 200 such incidents occurred between December 15th and December 16th. 200? Almost like a coordinated event, and not one of them is legitimate. The threats calls targeted friar institutions across various states, including California, Arizona, Connecticut, Colorado, Washington, and others. Nearly 865% of the month's 1,222 incidents were tied to these false bomb threats and swatting incidents. In total, SCN recorded 1,005 swatting incidents and false bomb threats in 2023, an 873% increase from 2022, when SCN recorded a total of 115 incidents. Do you believe any of that shit? And what proof do you have All they have to do is say the shit happened. Nobody ever questions them. Nobody ever demands proof. No, there's no investigation into any of it. They just make these claims and then we go, oh my gosh, they're so persecuted. And again, nobody ever says why. Why are they being targeted so much? If it's true, there has to be a reason. In a press release following the surge, SCN National Director and CEO Michael Masters, got to keep saying that over and over again. Isn't that weird? How instead of just saying Mike Masters, like they would always do, where they would just keep saying Masters, they give him his full-on SCN National Director and CEO Michael Masters. It's critical to recognize that these are not victimless crimes or innocent pranks. They can have real, even deadly consequences. We appreciate the arrests made to date, recognizing that the often sophisticated and anonymous nature of this activity makes these threats difficult to mitigate. No proof. While none of the incidents caused physical injury to the Friar community, according to an FBI memo obtained by ABC News, the disruption campaigns appeared to be connected, quote, based on similar language and specific email tradecraft used, and these threats appeared to be originating from outside the United States. Oh, yeah? In an interview with News Nation on the matter, Bradley Orsini, SCN's senior national security advisor, stated, we will take every one of these bomb threats, every one of these swatting incidents seriously, but we still need to maintain our ability to be open, welcoming, and to continue to function as a friar community. The Community Security Trust is the United K version, or the United Kingdom version of this. This is some crazy. And then there's all the other ones, the Friar Federations of North America. I actually didn't mean to get stuck on this one yesterday, but reading it was so crazy because I was just trying to get to these groups, and every single one of them just leads to more and more, the secure community network created by the Friar Federations of North America and the Conference of Presidents of Major American Friar Organizations, like, who the fuck are these people? Is the quasi-official umbrella security agency for the American Friar community. Quasi-official. The Friar Federations of North America, formerly the United Friar Communities, is an American friar umbrella organization for the Friar Federation system, representing over 350 independent friar communities across North America that raise and distribute over $2 billion annually, including through planned giving and endowment programs to support local welfare, social services, and educational needs. $2 billion is distributed among this community. What do you think that pays for? Do you think that pays for free housing? Do you think that pays for the free dentistry that my friend told me about? She told me that she didn't believe me about all this stuff, but she did think it was weird that when the friars came in, they didn't actually pay their bill. That the friar dentist would then submit it to, one of these JLD, JBC, one of these organizations at 70% the cost, and the organization would then pay the bill. So they were not only getting a discount, but they were paying it for the people. The people didn't pay for their own dentistry. No, that was just one example of it. What do you think the chances are that my friend would happen to work at the only dentist office that happens to happen at? Nick Fuentes is controlled opposition. That's what we sort of came to reading about him. He's exactly what they need him to be. He's just off-putting enough and just yucky enough that all the good things he says is outweighed by his negative side. So these horrible things he says about women and gays and all that, you say, oh, well, that idiot says those things. So what he's saying about the friars, that's probably the same stupidity. So I'm not going to listen to him. If you hate the friars, then you have to hate everybody else too. That's what it's showing you, right? Nick Fuentes he got the call. He was the call from the beginning, just like Charlie Kirk. They create those guys. I'd love to see Nick Fuentes' donor list. Because for somebody to supposedly be banned from every single fucking social media platform, how is he such a big star? How is he still just going along, making a bunch of money and pushing the stupidity, the friar stupidity that is Christianity, that is Catholicism. Charlie didn't die. He ascended to 33rd level of Masonry. Maybe, who knows? I don't know what we're seeing with Charlie Kirk. I know what bothers me is all of the effort that's gone into the Kirk shooting. How come that same effort didn't go into the Trump shooting? Because that shit was as fake as can be. And yet, everybody and their mom is talking about the Kirk shooting, or at least they were. And everything about it's fake, everything about it's fucked up, everything about it is just screams, a con job. It doesn't seem like it was real. All of the things that happened, especially the way that his team reacted to it. The fact that the one guy takes off running and goes through the tunnel and sets himself up on the other side so he can film it. The fact that there's clearly an exchange of something that happens between two of them and one guy goes running off. The fact that they clearly grab something off the table and there's just so many things. And then there's the glitches in the footage. As soon as you see one glitch, it's all bullshit. It's just that simple. Why would you trust any of it if you see there's a glitch in it? As long as people believe the charade, I think that's all that matters. Trump isn't much of an actor. No, he's not. Well, he might be. His character might just be this dumbass, fool. This ridiculous fool. Just like George Bush Jr., we believe that he was too stupid to actually be doing everything he was doing. But he was a smart fucking guy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're seeing. I don't know if what we're seeing is real or what. I know that Charlie was a dumb goyim. And at the end of the day, sacrificing the goyim that you created to be sacrificed in the first place is no big deal. It's a goyim. What the fuck do you care? It's not going to be a Ben Shapiro, that's for damn sure. They're going to sacrifice somebody for their cause. Who better than Kirk? And some of the dead giveaways are this this weird notion that's going around that Charlie was turning on Israel. And there are these videos that sort of show that a little bit, where Charlie's clearly asking questions that if anybody else asks, they get, immediately attacked and destroyed. But for some reason, Charlie was allowed to ask certain questions and say certain things that should have made him an immediate target of the operation. He should have immediately had the troll intake. He should have immediately been, all his donors been cut ties and all that other shit like would normally happen. And you would have Israel outwardly expressing a hatred for him. But instead, you have the opposite. You have Israel being the first ones to reach out, the first ones to tweet about it. And then they make the angel video, the fucking angel video. Get the fuck out of here with that. That shit is so... Like, as much as I hate religion and Christianity and all that other shit, that is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen religiously. From a mocking sort of perspective, from a religious, everything that I say and all that, it does not compare to making a fake CGI video of the Charlie Kirk angel talking about how happy he is that this is uniting the community over Israel and we need to unite, stand behind, like all that shit. That wouldn't have been the case if he was truly speaking out against Israel out of turn, in a way out of pocket, in a way that wasn't scripted. And it absolutely was scripted. Abso-fucking-lutely. They know that there's nothing more unifying than an assassination. They love doing that shit. They killed their own prime minister to do that shit. But they don't like killing their own. Very, very, the guy that was talking about peace talks with Iran and shit, well, that's a worthy sacrifice, I guess. But they don't, they're not going to sacrifice their own repeatedly or even, imagine if it was Ben Shapiro. There would definitely be no fingers pointing at Israel. There would be sympathy, They would have been able to spin that shit into some sympathy. But it didn't work that way. Anyway, I'm gonna bounce. We'll talk about the rest of this shit tomorrow. I'm going down the right rabbit hole. I know I am. That's why my numbers are so small. But the numbers don't mean shit. It's about learning. It's about being the best me I can be. So I'm going to keep going down this rabbit hole and seeing what I can find. And I hope you join me. Don't forget to get your free download, www.the-bilderberg, bilderberg-group.com. It's free. The link is in the description along with the link to all the other receipts and everything like that. It's all there. I back up what I'm saying with what they want us to know. It's not some secret conspiracy information. It's the narrative we're supposed to know. So, either prove me wrong or, educate you. Whatever it is, educate yourself. If you can look into the stuff I'm using, you look at my receipts and show what I'm wrong about, even better. But until that time, have yourself a wonderful day. And most importantly, you pedophiles, kill yourself.